Ubisoft's downfall has been a slow, flaming train wreck for years, but now they've officially applied for a 2-bedroom suite at Arkham Asylum right next to the Joker. Just when you thought they'd run out of excuses, they've decided to blame everything and everyone. Steam, gamers, the economy, your dog, you, me, except the actual issue. Their overpriced, microtransaction-choked, AAA slop that no one asked for. They don't think the problem is them. No. It's us. It's us. We're now an organized group rolling in anger instead of being their customers. There was a time when a 13-year-old me would have killed to work at Ubisoft. Mind you, this was at a time where Assassin's Creed Black Flag was released and Ubisoft was an all-time high, with games like Assassin's Creed Trilogy, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, Far Cry 3, Just Dance 2014 and whatnot. You guys can read the entire report yourself after you're done with the video, link in the description. But we're going to talk about the most fun parts of the report, so kick back and chill while this shithole of a company unravels and fucks off. The adoption of monetization and engagement policies that respect the player experience and are sustainable in the long term. At Ubisoft, the golden rule when developing premium games is to allow players to enjoy the game in full without having to spend more. Our monetization offers within premium games makes the experience more fun. Oh my god. By allowing them to personalize their avatars or progress more quickly. However, that is optional. Oh my god. Okay. Ubisoft claims microtransactions make the player experience more fun, specifically by letting you fast-track progression, or change your avatar, aka pay to win, or change a few digital clothes. Did you know that you are happy because Ubisoft put microtransactions in a game you already paid for? In a game you already paid for. If that sounds like corporate jargon brewed in a boardroom PowerPoint for shareholders who haven't touched a controller since Tetris dropped? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. But here's the kicker. That same annual report casually admits that 58% of Ubisoft's entire PC revenue for 2024 comes from microtransactions. That's over half their fucking bag, not coming from game sales, but nickel and diming people in their mediocre at best games they already dropped $70+ on. And that's just a base game. We're not even talking about deluxe editions or super ultra mega pro max tab editions. Good god, which goes for more than $100. This isn't new, by the way. This clownery dates back to Assassin's Creed Origins in 2017, when Ubisoft first dipped its disgusting toes in the monetization swamp with XP boosters and pay to look cool cosmetics. Fast forward to now, it's a full-blown addiction. Every major Assassin's Creed since then, Odyssey, Valhalla, and Shadows has been slathered with microtransactions. Like they're afraid we'll actually enjoy the base game without them. Not that the base games are enjoyable to begin with. Ubisoft's 2025 report also mentions the creation of a working group of dedicated monetization and associate risks. Whatever the fuck that means. Sounds less like game devs brainstorming mechanics and more like accountants running a casino. It's no wonder the community's backlash is nuclear. Gamers across X and Reddit have been absolutely cooking them. It's been a chef's kiss. Absolutely. One viral post compared Ubisoft's stance to dystopian propaganda, saying microtransactions makes the game more fun. And believe me, that is up there with you'll own nothing and be happy. Others call it borderline daylight robbery in an age where premium games cost $80, but still want you to buy the rest of the experience piece by piece. And it's not just rants, it's backed by evidence. Take Assassin's Creed Shadows, a garbage game that is built around grind loops that just happen to be skippable with, you guessed it, XP boosts and premium fucking currency. As one Reddit user put it, they made it tedious in the first place. Otherwise, people wouldn't buy it. That ain't a quality game loop. That's engineering frustration with a $5 solution stapled to it. So sure, Ubisoft, your microtransactions are optional. Yes, just like breathing air is optional, if you can hold your breath for the rest of the damn life. Section 2, XDefiant. Built to fail in 6 months. I'm surprised it lasts that long. Remember that game, XDefiant? Ubisoft's so-called Call of Duty killer? It launched in May 2024, broke records, and then decided the only thing it would be killing would be itself, and face-planted into its own grave by June 2025. You couldn't pay George R.R. Martin to write a more embarrassing downfall if you tried. Ubisoft hyped the game to hell and back. It hit 11 million players early on and still managed to fumble the bag harder than anyone thought possible. Why? Because this shit was a monetization farm, not a real game, no long-term vision, and just a bunch of spreadsheet rats trying to squeeze money out of a trend that they don't even understand. Mark Rubin, the game's lead, straight up said they did little to no marketing. You can pause to read the whole thing. So what did Ubisoft do when the numbers dipped? Did they correct course? What do you guys think they did? Huh? They pulled the plug. Of course they did. June 3rd, 2025, game's dead. Bam. 277 devs across San Francisco, Osaka, and Sydney. Out of jobs. Studios shuttered. XDefiant became yet another tombstone in Ubisoft's growing graveyard of live service flops. I don't want people to lose their jobs, but at this point, when will Ubisoft's time to throw in the towel come? The worst part, they blamed it on the game not being profitable enough. Like, no shit. When you release a game half-baked, with zero marketing, zero support, and the monetization of a mobile slot machine, you can't expect players to stick around and keep throwing cash at you while you dance like a grandma on a pole. Ubisoft didn't just kill XDefiant, they never gave it a chance to live and thrive. Now, to be fair, Ubisoft does acknowledge that people are happy. That's something, right? So Ubisoft came with the genius method of making people happy again. Let's do it from the head of the snake itself. In order to prevent and limit these risks, Ubisoft has implemented internal reputation monitoring, crisis management, and content moderation system. That's a mouthful. Has adapted its communication strategy to reflect this new context. Right? And its legal and human resource departments have developed appropriate processes to respond to these attacks on its reputation. Also, calls on external partners to support in its monitoring and crisis management strategy. What the fuck do those even mean? What is this? This is Ubisoft's idea of course correction. It isn't fixing the games, it's fixing the backlash. They put together internal reputation monitoring teams, crisis response units, and content moderation systems. All not to make better games, but to shut people up. It's not to make better games, it's to shut people up when the games flop. Legal and HR are also looped in. Not for employee rights or studio morale. No. They're there to handle what Ubisoft calls attack on reputation. Not criticism, not feedback, attacks. These people hear your game sucks and treat it like a legal threat. Their strategy isn't to listen or to learn, it's to minimize the optics of failure. Instead of creating better systems of player feedback, they're building noise-canceling headphones instead of turning off the fire alarm for the fire that will inevitably reach them sooner or later, but hopefully very, very soon. I hope they suffer the fire. And look, I don't want any employees, any game developer to lose their job in this shithole of a company, but with the way Ubisoft is running things, it's hard not to see the writing on the wall. The downfall of this company will be studied 2,000 years later. And just when you think it couldn't get more dystopian, Ubisoft admits it blatantly. They're calling in external partners, which likely means Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation and whatnot, not to get help fix anything, but to help monitor you, like the little lab rat that you are, for them to test out how many Ponzi-ass monetization scams they can run before it breaks the camel's back. They want to track your statement, scrub bad press in your face, hide player counts. Yep, that's right. If you didn't already know, Ubisoft has in the past requested Steam to hide concurrent player numbers just this last year. So basically, Ubisoft prioritizes image management over tangible quality, investing more in maintaining a facade of excellence than in achieving actual high standards. And if you've liked me dissecting this fuck ass of a company so far, subscribe to the channel, because this ain't even the worst part yet. Game journalists, or should I say game urinalists, protecting Ubisoft because they're bought. If you thought Ubisoft's financial report was bad, just wait till you see how the media tried to clean it up. Almost like they were bought out? Wait a minute. Anyhow, during Ubisoft's investor Q&A, the very first question fired off was about Assassin's Creed Shadows, budget and sales. And wouldn't you know it, the CEO, Yves Guillemot, dodged it like he was Neo from the Matrix. Bro, straight up, and said, we don't disclose production costs. It did cost over 100 million euros, we'll say that. And then, in the same breath, spilled the game had over 5 million players, cost over 100 million euros, and required a heavy investment into the engine. Quote unquote, heavy investment into the engine. Yeah, sure. And listen, if that number includes Ubisoft Plus and not just copies sold, if it includes deep discounts, the game already has been on sale multiple times, that's 5 million players. That 5 million player line ain't impressive. Not for a AAA open world game in 2025 that probably should cost upwards of $300 million to make. And these ratfucks know that too, because if the games was truly killing it, they'd be shouting those sales figures from the rooftops. Instead, they're whispering vague metrics while quietly discounting it 4 months after launch. That's not what winning looks like. Oh, but it gets worse. After that, the investor Q&A lit up with actual hard questions. Investors asked about Ubisoft's reputation, their direction, and even politically charged choices in Shadows, like Yasuke's character arc and the inclusion of a trans love interest. What did Ubisoft's leadership do? The CEO tried to smooth it over by saying Yasuke was someone who really existed, that players love a hero's journey, and that their creative choices were very successful. Bullshit. Zero acknowledgement of their actual concerns, just corporate speak with a fresh coat of denial. Now here's where it gets shady. The so-called journalists for gamesindustry.biz, or whatever that is, rewrote the entire exchange. Instead of quoting the hard-hitting questions as it was asked, he sanitized it, reframed it as a mild complaint, and Ubisoft being criticized for casting a 16th century African samurai. Bullshit. Here's a small portion of the article that stupid journalist had sanitized. During the Q&A portion of Ubisoft's July meeting, an angry shareholder took the opportunity to take Guillemot to task. First, they asked him about Assassin's Creed Shadows, which stars the real-life 16th century African samurai Yasuke. The questioner said, "There's been a lot of controversy regarding the game," adding that Ubisoft has been accused and criticized for this wokish trend. So woke or no woke? He continued. How do you explain Ubisoft's deteriorated reputation, which may actually challenge the foundations of your organization? Or are you going to backtrack or backpedal on that leftist political agenda? Is there room for the entertainment world for that kind of stance? That is not what the investor said. The question was in fact way more specific. Have a listen yourself.
I'm a recent shareholder, but I'm a long-standing user of Ubisoft wares. I have a couple of questions. First of all, regarding Assassin's Creed Shadows. There's been a lot of controversy regarding that game. How do you respond? Ubisoft has been accused and criticized for this wokest trend. I mean, this is happening in 16th century medieval Japan, and the main character is an African samurai. That's a bold choice by Ubisoft. And in the story, he falls in love. That's one of the possibilities of the game. He gets to fall in love with a transgender character. So, woke or no woke? How do you explain Ubisoft's deteriorated reputation?
Look at this. Do you not see what it is? Do you not see what this exactly is? Narrative control. Narrative fucking control. Exactly what they mention in their fuck-ass report. Instead of fixing their garbage games. This is what happens when the press stops holding power to account and starts running PR on their behalf. And this pattern is not new. It's not new. Ubisoft's been in controversy after controversy for years now. From workplace issues, to botched game launches, to killing online games people already paid for, these outlets are supposed to be the watchdogs, unintended. They're acting more like fucking lapdogs on a short leash. Ubisoft, it's time to go. Ubisoft, time to go. All of this backlash, this is the consequence of treating players as units sold. I don't even care anymore. Ubisoft doesn't care about fun, legacy, or the players. They just care about squeezing every penny out of what used to be magic. They've had this treasure trove of IPs for all this time, and all they've done is piss over them and call it a day. When we've got games like Clair Obscur, Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, why would I bother touching Ubisoft's monetization dungeon? Even with a 20-foot pole, mind you. If you're still here, you're a real one. Subscribe to the channel.